What's up, everybody? It's Johnny Bronto here with HauntScene. It's Tuesday night. It's 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You are where you should be, watching HauntScene live. Hello, America. Welcome back. With me, as always, my lovely, my beautiful, my... She doesn't have her glasses on.
I don't have my glasses tonight.
She can't even see anything.
I can't see nothing.
Melissa Luke.
But hello, everyone. How's it going? Thank you for tuning in, as always. It's nice to see you all.
I'm excited about this episode.
Well, I mean, you know, if I could see you.
Wow.
Can't see.
That's good. We should keep like a pun counter. We're just gonna pun this whole episode.
It's funny.
Wow. Okay. So
It was soft.
Thank you. Please share this out. Do all the things. Tag all the things. Share all the things. But without further ado, I want to bring on our very special guest, somebody who is absolutely amazing and involved in absolutely a million things.
Awesome.
It is going to be Cherran Dea.
Hey!
Oh, hold on. Oh, you didn't.
You unmute.
Really,
Hi.
Melissa?
Can you hear me?
Melissa had
Hello?
one job.
I had one
to remind me to unmute her.
I couldn't see the button.
Wow.
Oh
Anyways, Cherran Dea, welcome to the show.
Hi.
Hey,
Yay!
hi. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so
How
much.
are you doing tonight?
How are you?
Oh, I'm living someone's nightmare in the best way possible.
Aww.
That's good.
No, it's a good thing. It's
That's
a
a
pun.
good thing. Okay.
It's a spooky pun.
It is.
I say it at cocktails and screams.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, which you just started at like a week or so
Very
ago.
cool. Very cool.
Yeah,
I like that.
absolutely.
That's awesome. Cool. All right. Well, what we do in the beginning of the show is we do the elevator pitch section where we give our guests an opportunity to talk about themselves. So we would like to know the things like where you're from, favorite color, your favorite animal, and just tell us about yourself and then what you're into.
Sure. So hi, I'm Cherran Dea. That's how you say it. The one and only. So I am originally from Wisconsin, and I moved here in 2017 to pursue my dream to become a Disney performer with the college program. And I quickly got a dose of reality, and that's not what was becoming my reality. So I'm really thankful for that, though, because that life lesson kind of pushed me to start explore other areas and audition. And, you know, within 3 or 4 years now, I'm working at Universal. I have found my way within the Orlando theater scene, as well as the burlesque scene, and just found my way in some really interesting opportunities and things. My favorite color, I must say, is like a vintage dusty purple.
Ooh, nice.
Yes,
nice.
yes.
Very, very
Living
royal.
Yeah,
Yes,
unique.
Victorian color. Yes.
Purple's just a really nice color in general.
Yeah.
So yeah, good choice. Good choice.
I just
approve.
started integrating color back into my wardrobe. It was black for a while. Who knew? So I'm trying new things. And then of course I love it. Like a pretty cat. I love a cat. My favorite animal.
Aw,
And
cute.
so yeah, so that's kind of a little bit about me. Is I couldn't take the cold anymore, so I moved to sunny Orlando,
Good move.
where it's been cold.
Well, it's been cold
Relatively
Yeah.
cold.
most of the days, yeah.
It's a
cold.
relative cold because
Most
if
of the
it's like 50 degrees here, it's like hoodie, like I'm freezing weather. But
Mhm.
if 50 degrees isn't like where we're from, I'm from Detroit. She's from Boston,
Connecticut.
same thing. And like up there, if it's 50 degrees, it's like t-shirt weather, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah.
When people
They're in their
come down here-
bikinis sunbathing.
yeah.
Yeah, they're in t-shirt and shorts when they come visit here. We're all bundled up because it's below 70, so it's funny.
So Cherran Dea, which took me a
Yeah.
while to figure that out. What you gave me a little bit of history on your name because it's very unique. I've never actually heard about that. So what's the story with the name?
Sure. So Cherran Dea is my first name and middle name. And my mother's name is Cheryl, and my father's name is Randy, and so it's Cherran Dea. But it's funny because when my parents got divorced, my mom's like, well, maybe you can just go by Cher. And I said, I'm pretty sure that's not going to get me pretty far in life because there's already someone named Cher. So that's who I am. I'm the only one. And it people still say it wrong, and I don't care.
That's
okay.
okay.
I understand.
I stumbled my way across it.
Yeah, when I first saw it, I didn't know how to say it, so I didn't say it at all. Like I didn't want to butcher it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah, it's usually when someone's like looking down at the paper, squinting. I go, yeah, that's me. You're looking for me.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
Present.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I did a lot of like, hey you, and that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's okay. I'm used to it. Hey you is like my my nickname too, so I understand.
All right. So we've got all kinds of things to talk about. If you have any questions for Cherran Dea, please put them in the comments, and then we'll try to address those live. So hopefully you'll take questions tonight. And let's do it. Okay, so we've got all kinds of stuff to talk about. So here she is. And I've coined her the girl of a million places because she's involved in so much. Like it's ridiculous, and she's amazing in everything. So let's talk about that. Okay, so this is not in any sort of like order. This is basically just how it came together. So don't get at me in the comments about like me prioritizing things, because that's not true. But let's talk about where I think we first came across you, which was at Halloween Horror Nights here in Orlando, Florida. You were one of the characters in the Rob Zombie Hellbilly Deluxe Scare Zone.
Yeah, so this is actually my my introduction kind of into the haunt world. I usually I auditioned the year before. I didn't get it, but I auditioned, and I actually walked into the audition and in like a crop top, and then they pulled me back in and they said, would you mind showing your midriff? And I said, it's already showing, like, what are you having me wear? And so this was such an amazing experience. The cast was so incredibly welcoming, and we were so close knit because there was only 2 casts with the streets. And I remember we go in for our fitting, and I was given the role Dead Living Girl. So this character is the Dead Living Girl. And so I didn't know if we couldn't use like the names of like these coined characters because they're IP. So I assumed I would be the Living Dead Girl from the Living Dead Girl music video, because that was kind of what the trend was, is that we were all Sherry Moon characters within the music videos of Hellbilly Deluxe. And so the girls in front of me, they get handed the gowns of that costume. And I'm like, well, okay, what do I get? And then I go up there and they hand me the bra and gauze, and they said, there you go.
It's like a DIY.
Yeah, I said, okay. And they're like, yeah, you're based off of one picture that exists on the back of an album somewhere of just Sherry Moon as this character. And so when we go for our show direction, everyone else is kind of, these are your movements. This is from the music video. And our show director was like, you're the Dead Living Girl, and go. And so I was really fortunate with this character because she was very more spooky than and beautiful, where a lot of the other women, they were kind of very much like in beauty makeup and very sexy, which is awesome. But I was on the ground, so I was kind of at a disadvantage because I was in the thick of the crowds. Yeah. And so this character, we came up with this movement of, she's just very big and twitchy and just dancing, and so literally I just got to dance. I got paid to dance for 41 nights of Halloween Horror Nights to Hellbilly Deluxe.
Yeah, I saw that. Like whenever I went by, I always saw you like dancing in the streets, and you did really well with it. Did really well with your movements and stuff. So
how exhausting was that? Like on night 41, you leave for the last time. I would imagine it's probably very sad, but you're probably just like,
yes, I have this problem with pacing myself, obviously why I'm involved in a million things at once. And so especially the first night I went out there, and after the first set, because we had 45-minute sets, my makeup was pretty much like I sweat all of it off because I was just like running around the street doing these motions. My arms didn't leave like this 90-degree angle the whole time, so I'm in pain. And they're like, maybe you should pace yourself. And I'm like, but I want to give the best performance. And so it was exhausting. I think costuming was kind of also done with me too, because they put me in character heels on the ground, but in this particular location, the ground is brick. And so with my movements, I had gone through 2 or 3 pairs of character shoes, putting holes in them from like stop and like trying to scare. And they're like, if you can bring your own boots, that'd be great. You'd be more comfortable. And so, yeah. And so at the time I was doing another show as well. So it was balancing those and then not overexerting myself. But yeah, on the last night, it was bittersweet. We were ready to slam the back of the Dracula one last time. And I truly miss it. I'm nostalgic. I will listen to the entirety of Hellbilly Deluxe and I just have beautiful moments and memories associated with it. So I had a fantastic time with this year. Mm-hmm.
So cool.
And then you were actually part of the HHN Light this year as well.
Yeah. So, we all auditioned and we were so hopeful, and everything got canceled. And I never got a yes or no. And so a lot of us were speculating, okay, the people that didn't get no's were going to get cast street. And so I was fortunate to get an email being, we're going to cast you in this role. And they were very, it's like candy corn spook one. Like they made it very secret. And so I show up and I didn't get a fitting. I didn't know anything that I was doing because I was kind of cast a little later than everyone else. And so I show up and I go, what house am I in? And they're like, oh, you're in the Tooth Fairy house. And now mind you, I'm in line with everyone who's about 5 foot to 5'3", and I'm 5'7", and I go, excuse me? And they're like, yep, you're the cook in the kitchen. And I said, who? And they're like, oh, did you not walk through the house? I said, I have no idea what's going on. And so I got to be a victim in the house, which was interesting, trying to then play, how do you scare somebody when you are the one being like technically scared? And so our role was interesting because for a little while we had like a Tooth Fairy puppet that we had like eating our face, and it was exhausting. I'm not gonna lie, because we had a lot of safety precautions. We had to get there so early to make sure everyone had their space. We had to wear double masks.
Wow.
So we had a mask plus our prosthetic piece if you had a mask. So it was very interesting navigating doing this event. And I also was the morning cast, so I was scaring people at 7 a.m.
Oh, that's right.
Which was
really
it was
cool.
very
open
interesting.
during the day.
Yeah, morning scares. Best.
Yeah, so it was interesting then scaring like the day guests and those kind of individuals rather than the HHN crowd.
Yeah, the rando tourist that wandering.
Yeah.
Oh, is this Dr. Seuss? Is this
a ride?
Is this Harry Potter?
They bring their toddlers and they have to like carry them, and I'm like, did you not read? I'm just here to work. I'm just doing my thing. So I was very fortunate and very happy to be a part of that. Yeah. But I'm very looking forward to what they're planning this year, because they announced that they're having the event. Mm-hmm. So hopefully, crossing my fingers, I'll be able to somehow finagle doing horror nights again.
Maybe get in the streets in the zones. So yeah,
we are manifesting. We're putting that in the universe, because after doing a house, I really like the streets.
For sure.
Yeah, and I did not get a chance to visit the Beetlejuice house at the end of last year.
I only did the 2 houses.
I'm excited about just having Horror Nights back. I'm excited about having a normal spring season again.
I'm excited. It's all coming back too. Tooth Fairy and Bride is actually coming back as well.
Yes. Speculated.
There we go.
I think so.
I think it's coming back.
All signs point to yes.
It's coming back. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I honestly know nothing, but I think they're if anything, adding more to it, because there were so many spots for more scare actors and more. They had so many more plans that we were kind of clued in on why this is here, what we're not doing with it. So hopefully, it will live up to the integrity that they wanted it to be, and it can be the full vision that they wanted. So
true.
So it's cool to kind of be a part of the 1.0 version and see how it evolves from there.
Yeah. So Horror Nights, looking forward to that. So we're going to move on to the next thing. And this is something that I'm a big fan of, which is going to be Phantasmagoria.
Phantasmagoria.
And
such great people. You guys are all amazing.
I did not put two and two together that you are part of this because I actually met you through something else. So we'll circle back around on that a little bit, but you are such a badass. You are such a I mean, just look like this look that you're giving on the left hand one, and like the eye and the thing. It's just you're all the whole troupe is just everybody's so amazing. And I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge simp for.
And I absolutely love them. Like, we saw them when we went to the Ice Bar on iDrive when they had the event during
the Krampus thing.
Christmas,
yep.
the Krampus thing, and they were so cool and they were so awesome.
Yeah, I
such great people.
Yeah, they're great. But we have a clip. So let's lay the stage here. Let's go ahead and switch over to the clip. If I have it, where are you, clip? That's not it.
Hi.
There we go.
That's the clip.
All right, so let's go ahead and watch this little clip here.
Die! This was the end of it! Witch! Hell damn! Devil! By the power of God, be gone! Whether dead to the grave or damned to hell!
And at that moment, the Lord's hand from out the heavens struck the horror where it stood. The old dead, desecrated corpse of the witch wife blazed up and like a brimstone spark fell in ashes to the ground.
That same morning, many saw the devil pass the villages from Knockdown to Kilmacurley.
There was little doubt that it was him that dwelled so long in Janet's body. But he was away at last. The devil again has never worried us in Balwery. And from that hour to this, Reverend Soulless was the man you see this day. The end.
Oh, so good, so good.
So good.
Love it.
Love it. I love your movements.
Oh,
I love your movements. They're so great.
In the do you want to talk about that particular clip? Like the what was the title of that?
Yeah. So that piece was called Thrawn Janet. It's a oh god, the author is slipping my name, but part of Phantasmagoria is we do classic tales of horror. So basically anything you see from Edgar Allan Poe to Friedrich Nietzsche to we'll sometimes throw in some things from doing A Christmas Carol. And so this was from Plague Tales, which was the virtual show that replaced our main stage back in October. Because we were very much as a troupe wanting to give a product, but we were very much trying to follow the guidelines of social distancing and safety. And so this is Thrawn Janet. It is based as a Scottish lore of this woman who is like the town, like she wears her crimson A, and she gets possessed by the devil, and the devil is dwelling within her, and this Reverend Soulless takes her in and is like, no, like she's just a troubled woman, and how he banishes the devil through this woman. And so this was the very end of the show, and I like this clip because it kind of brings in the physicality that we as a troupe embody. Because whenever our big thing with Phantasmagoria is our sets are very minimal, like very much truncated, but we create movement and we create creatures with each other, and we become those creatures together. But with COVID, we couldn't do that. So it's like, okay, how do we create this menacing creature within, just with being still 6 feet away and very distant from each other? And so it's funny that this comes after the Horror Nights, because I took a lot of the physicality that I was doing in Horror Nights and kind of put that into Thrawn Janet. And my director, John Dodano, was like, how is your neck not broken? And I said, well, John, I did for 41 nights. Like it's used to it by now.
Yeah. So. Not in that clip, but if you if you go and watch the trailer for the Plague Tales for Phantasmagoria, you get to see a little bit of the movement. I have no idea. It literally, when she's walking, she's got like her shoulder like pushed in, and her head is like somehow detached. But it's just so it's such an unnatural like posture.
You know? Like you can contort your body very well.
It was very
Thank you.
It was very unsettling to watch because I got the pay-per-view stream thing, and it was just like, oh, okay, all right, that's interesting.
You're very talented.
Yeah,
so that's
you.
Awesome. So,
was such a great that was a great show. Everything they do is amazing.
Everything you guys do is amazing.
Yeah. So basically, with Phantasmagoria, I auditioned about 2 years ago, and it's a very in-depth audition. We do it's all about storytelling, and we want to storytell first and foremost, but it's, we also have fight choreography. We have a great fight director, Bill Warner, who, we are in there with our swords and, being safe, and how can we teach someone how to do this? And we learn fire, and we learn how to be an ensemble and tell these classic tales. And so when I was cast, we were also, challenged with finding our character and finding who these beings are within the lore, because we are kind of timeless beings that are cursed to tell these stories by Zeus. Like, he speaks through us to tell these stories. And so my character is Dahlia, like the Black Dahlia, and she's kind of a kooky Mary Poppins-esque kind of character. It's funny because we all want to go in being like, I'm really dark and sexy, and somehow I'm bobbling around. And so our first show that we did was a train show in Eustis, Mount Dora, with my two other cast members who were here, which was Corey Valenz and Olivia Tyndall. And we did a 3-person train show with the train going, and I was doing that at the same time as Horror Nights. And it's so beautiful because we are like a family, and we are a small, close-knit group. And it's really interesting because we are kind of become this sub troupe to the main stage. And through that, I am the ringmaster of the sub troupe. And we did Through a Christmas Darkly, where we actually got to tell the story of the Krampus, and we got together and we created the beast and moved together as one. And it was really interesting then finally learning the Phantasmagoria way, because we were kind of restricted on the train. And then we got to, have this beautiful, intimate Christmas show that was different than the Christmas Carol that is usually done by our main stage. And so we had a lot of plans. We were doing a Valentine's train show. We were ready to go on. And then the world caught fire. And so the clip that you just saw was from Plague Tales, which is embodying kind of what is happening. We are separated by Pesta, who is bringing the plague upon the world. And we are separated now, going out into the world and, having to tell our stories. And which I talked to John Adama, and he says it will be re-released for those who are interested. So please follow Phantaz Orlando on Instagram, or Phantasmagoria on Facebook. And some little insider knowledge is that he was asked to create a show, the Dark Carnival, for MegaCon. So we are going to be featured at MegaCon. So stay tuned for that.
Awesome.
Yeah, we'll be there.
For sure,
awesome.
As a matter of fact, that's actually where I met John the first time. John and Dion was at MegaCon.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
So Phantasmagoria is great.
Yeah.
Phantasmagoria is great. I don't think they're doing weekly shows anymore. I think they're going to alternate now. But keep an eye on their social media, because they're going to be doing more and more live performances. And I think I last saw you at Renninger's, right?
Renninger's, yeah. So now we're starting to do more appearances. So definitely check out our social media, see where we're popping up. Renninger's is in Mount Dora, correct?
Yeah, somewhere up there.
Yeah, Mount Dora. So they've like a steampunk festival. They have us. They have the Bloody Jug Band was performing, and we got to tell the story of the Telltale Heart and perform in front of people again, which is so glorious.
Yeah.
So we're coming out of our quarantine and our shadows to come back and share tales with you again. So I'm hoping to see you there because it's fun. It's different.
I was a little starstruck at the thing.
Oh,
because I've only met John and Deanna, and everybody else. I'm like, hey, hi, I'm Johnny. It's just so I'm shy. Weirdly enough, I do a whole show, and I'm a public speaker for a living, but I'm shy around.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, so I don't know, it's stupid. Yeah. I'll say hi next time. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's move on to the next thing. So the latest hotness going on, and I took these pictures, so I'm very proud of myself.
They're gorgeous.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
I have a gift. Yeah. I'm just kidding. I got lucky with these two. It was more the camera than anything.
You're super photogenic as well.
Yeah,
so.
It's not like it's hard.
It's the eyebrows.
It's the eyebrows.
It's always the eyebrows.
Always the eyebrows.
Always.
It is.
Always.
So you just started recently at Cocktails and Screams, which we've been many times. We love James and Andy. And they have atmosphere characters now. And after my own heart, her character's name is Penny Dreadful.
Oh, yeah,
and Penny Dreadful is amazing. It's also one of my favorite TV shows of all time. And so do you want to tell us about how that came about? How did that work? And then what exactly do you do there?
Yeah, so Cocktails and Screams, first and foremost, it's a Halloween horror cocktail bar that is open in downtown Orlando. It's open 6 days a week. It's open year round. It's not just Halloween, so please come and hang out with us. We're not open Mondays.
Except Mondays.
And except Mondays. We also do a Sunday brunch and horror drag bingo on Sunday night. So, so I had been a couple of times before, and I actually had performed there doing some burlesque, which we'll get into as well. And it's a beautiful space and a beautiful venue. And they had kind of gone through some management changes and some things that, they have had a reputation for. They, changed a lot of things around, and they really wanted to incorporate more entertainment because the venue itself lends it to having entertainment. And so it just popped up. Someone shared it to me. They said, I think this would be perfect for you, because I had always wanted to work there, but I'm not a bartender. I'm not a singer. Like I was like, God, if they had some sort of like host, I'd love to do that. And so basically we came in and they said, this is new to us too. Like, just kind of share with us like what your character is, who you are. And I did the audition, and then they asked me to come and work there. And so basically, as Atmosphere, we just get to have a playground of fun and get to go interact with the guests and make sure they're having a good time about all the cool and awesome opportunities within the bar. There's I call it a speakeasy in the back, which is the craft. It's a voodoo hoodoo speakeasy password kind of bar that specializes in absinthe, and a lot of people don't realize it's there. And so part of our job is to also, invite people to come to that, do the tarot card readings, just kind of get them out of their shell, because it can be intimidating, to be amongst the haunt people if you've never experienced. But we kind of are there to, break the ice, and also go out onto the street and kind of invite people to come to the bar, because we're a little off the beaten path. And one of the best parts is we get to hand out these little poker chips. And so if the guests come back to the bar, they get to spin the wheel of misfortune. And on the wheel, they can win free shots and free drinks, but they can also have to eat a maggot, which is a gummy worm soaked in schnapps, or we get to make them sing, or they have the string of it's a string that we put on them with a deflated balloon, so they have to walk around with it like Pennywise and it, and be like, yeah. And so we get to kind of do that, and then also work the door and invite people, to just kind of enjoy themselves. And so so I just get to play essentially and be Penny Dreadful, which is a character that I kind of developed. Because it allows me some more freedom. Eventually they want to incorporate more iconic characters, and so maybe maybe one day Elvira will pop up.
Maybe. That would be awesome.
Yes.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah. So right now Penny's just kind of walking around being, her little kooky self as well. I always do these like kooky characters. It's just what comes naturally with me. So
it works. Gotta go with what works.
So we're just having some fun right now, kind of seeing what we're doing. Eventually we like to have a monthly show, and do, again, use that beautiful space to bring in more, maybe sideshow or specialty acts and really capitalize on the interesting things we all do here in Orlando. So
yeah, that'd be cool to have more like fun events there too.
I'm trying to connect James with Bloody Jug Band. I'm like, this would be really cool to have them perform, but it would also be really cool to have Phantasmagoria perform there.
That would be awesome on that stage. Like, that would be perfect.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
So definitely check that out, cocktailsandscreams.com. Follow them on social media. I think you killed it when the night that we went. That was really cool. Thank you for taking a little picture and the little boomerang with the Buki. That was cool.
I know Buki. Yeah. He's over there. He's chilling on my mantle there.
I would love to go back and see these characters. So I haven't been back to see the new characters yet. So
yeah, we have Jekyll and Hyde, we have Frankenstein, and sometimes Beetlejuice pops up.
Well, that's cool.
So it varies night by night. So even if you come one night, you can come again and experience something totally new, which is what we love too.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
Right.
Speaking of, and if I know what this next picture is, okay. So we'll come back to that because there's one more thing that has to tie into Cocktails and Screams. But where we first interacted with you, like verbally, was the Dark Séance, which was a themed dinner show, a themed dinner spooky show that went along with the Orlando Forum of Fear, and you were the main actress in that. So do we want to talk about that? There's no really sense in linking to it because it's done and it's not coming back, but we had fun.
You were great with that, and I didn't even realize that was the first time we met you, because with all the characters you play, you do actually look different in all of them. Yeah. So I never really recognized you and put two and two together. So I do apologize about that.
And it was our mutual friend Chuck who put two and two together. I was like, wait a minute, that's her, and then it just kind of the light bulb went off. But
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, I have to thank, Chef Chuck and keeping my sanity during this experience. More or less now it's a story and a learning experience. It was definitely an experience. And so I can kind of give some fun tidbits on this. So I was actually, Adam McCabe, he actually reached out to me and said, hey, I'm doing this thing. He actually created the graphics you see right now. And he said, "I think
the graphics on the show too."
Yes, we love him. He'll be on the show
smaller as the days go by.
Yeah, right.
Basically, yeah.
And so he reached out to me and said, "Hey, I think you should be a part of this experience. It's this new thing." And I said, "Sure." And so I came in, and it wasn't really an audition. It was kind of just like, go. And so there was 3 of us originally hired to be the seance host. Because I was going to audition to be a part of the Forum of Fear as a scare actor, but because I was doing horror nights at the time, I didn't have the availability. But they still reached out to me and they asked me about this other experience, and I said, "Great, awesome, totally up my alley." And so they kind of told us about how the show was going to work. It was a full 4-course kind of dinner, and then we would put on this seance. And at the time, I remember it was going to be my birthday. So I left for the weekend and I said, okay, I'm going to come back. And there was audience plans within the show. And so I said, I'll just do that. That's fine. Like, I'll come back and just experience it. Well, by the time I came back for my birthday, I was the only person that stayed due to, creative differences. And so I was like, well, I have this problem with, potential. And I was like, there's so much potential. Okay. I have to stick with it. I can save this. And so, so I was like, I don't really know what happens, but I would love to keep working on the show. And so they kind of pushed the days back. And they said, oh, we'll hire people, because with doing Horror Nights and Phantasmagoria, there was dates that I was like, I can't do it. And so they're like, yeah, we'll hire people. Well, I became basically the only host for the entirety of the run. And so that was a 6-day-a-week show, double shows on Saturdays. They wanted to do triple shows, and I said, there's no way, no way I can do that, because the show itself wasn't really created for a performer, and like keeping the performers like vocal health in mind, and there was no contingency either. So if things didn't work in the seance, good luck, it's up to you to save it. So this experience really taught me how to control the room, how to interact with the guests when there's that lull space, because the whole point was I had a story about Claire Chapman, who was the descendant of Jack the Ripper, and kind of how her great aunt was murdered by Jack the Ripper, was one of the victims. And then at the end of the seance, you conjure Jack the Ripper by accident. And so the whole point was the flow of the show was supposed to be that you eat, I talk, you get your next course, I talk. Well, that never happened. And it was talk for 5 minutes, and then we had a big chunk of time, and it's like, well, what do we do with that? And so I had to really, think on my toes a lot of nights when things didn't work in the room. Too bad, you got to just go and do it, because it was a tricked room. That spoiler, I'm not a real medium.
What?
I think
spoiler.
I gotta shut the show
Crazy.
off. Sorry. Have a good night, everybody.
I so thought you were. You're so good at it, though. That's why.
Yeah. Thank you. And that was part of the problem with the show too. Is I don't want to, I want to be humble about it, but people thought I was an actual real medium, and then they either were disappointed by the product at the end, realizing that it was kind of a trick. And then, or they came up to me and were like, oh, can I book a reading with you? Like, I need to know things.
Sure.
I'm like, yes, follow me on Orlando Forum. And so I was stuck with the show because we wanted to make it a year-round kind of thing, because there's people like us that love that kind of experience. Yeah. And so I was really trying to work hard with the owners and work hard with my cast members and keep people like invigorated, and they ended up losing the building. And and so it's actually funny, if you go on International and drive by the venue, it still says Form of Fear. There's all of the stuff that is up. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they kind of had to get out of there quick. So it was an experience. I met a lot of great people, and we went through a lot together. And I honestly wouldn't trade it, because it was it's such a cocktail story to talk over dinner now.
Especially for the people that know the stuff. The stuff,
the real tea.
It's it's once in a lifetime experience. You got to do.
We had fun with it,
and you still had fun with it. So it's good.
We I would
love to look back on it and see the stuff that you did. So.
I would love if it was in the right hands, it would be such an interesting concept. So I would love to challenge someone to create this experience again. And if you want to hear some real tea, just DM me and we'll
it was
sip
cool
over it.
It was one of a kind at the time, so which was pretty cool.
The potential.
We had fun with it.
Yeah.
Good. Right. And that's where I got to meet you.
Yeah.
So we met you for the first time. I didn't even realize it was you.
Yeah. Good.
And you were great in character, so it was fun.
Thank you.
All right, so we got that one in. Okay, so this part, you are involved with many different cabaret or burlesque companies here, and I got a couple of things that you got coming up. We'll talk about those in a moment, but sure. Just getting involved in this, like how did this start? Oh, and by the way, can just for the audience at home or the people that are stupid like me and need to Google it, what is a cabaret or a burlesque, and how would you define that for normal people?
I always wanted to know what that was too.
Sure. So burlesque it's the art of the tease. And so people ask me, are you a stripper? And I said, well, yes. But also it's more about, the art and the storytelling behind the tease and the intrigue and, the enticement. And also you can be funny and sexy and spooky, which obviously that's kind of my MO. And so that's what burlesque kind of started out as, is like a vaudevillian sort of farce of kind of how to, be seedy and funny and entertain the masses. And so burlesque has had a resurgence, especially within the past like decade of, especially people who love dressing up and doing, the pinup look, and that kind of just lends itself to the boudoir, and then, getting into burlesque and the beauty and the grandeur behind it. And so when people ask about, is it stripping? I go, well, yes, but we got a little more, we got some class,
to it.
Don't get me wrong. Sometimes it can be a little raunchy, but we got some class. And then with the cabaret, we do a lot of acts. So like, again, Orlando's so eclectic. And so we have stilt walkers, we have fire dancers, we have aerialists, we have singers. And so a cabaret kind of brings all of those together and kind of showcases those talents within our burlesque show. And so, so that's kind of like the basic definition I give when, if someone's interested, I'm like, well, you kind of have to experience it to understand it too. So I invite anyone to come and experience any of our shows.
Yeah, check out, and you've actually got a couple things coming up. But we just got a comment here from let me make sure that I say this correctly, Cheryl Rishko, and she makes her mama proud every day. Aww, thank you for
I don't know her.
You.
Yes, thank you. Hi, Mom. Hello.
the timing of this, just when I went to this slide, that's awesome.
Oh, my mother, she has come to a burlesque show. She has seen my pasties. Okay. So, we're great.
It's not like it's nothing she hasn't seen before.
True,
so
yeah, exactly. Right, she brags that I got it from my mama. So, so thank you, Mom.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so like I said in the beginning, when I was really trying to live that Disney performer, bubble, and when I was trying and working on it, and just not getting anywhere, it's very discouraging. Yeah. And so Orlando, it can sometimes, spit people out if you don't fight for something. And so I started auditioning and doing theater, and I finally, made my way at Universal as a performer, but I was like, okay, what else? What's next? I'm always what's next? And I had always loved the idea of burlesque, and I'm just naturally that kind of person. I'm a performer, I'm a dancer, I'm a storyteller. Like that's what I do physically. And so actually Blue Star, who is like one of the mothers of burlesque here, she was having an amateur performance at the venue, RIP. We missed the venue. And I was, through mutual connections of being in a show, someone sent me and said, hey, you should do this. And so I was like, I have to do it. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm just going to go do it. And so the first routine I ever did was Season of the Witch. I was the witch from Snow White, and I pulled like apples out of my bra, and it was this cute little routine. And I didn't end up winning the amateur show, but I was approached by Aurora Fable, who is the creator of Midnight Fables, formerly Emerald City Cabaret. And she said, I love it. You are just the vibe. You are an incredible performer. You connect. Like, we would love to invite you to come to a show. And in that moment, it really spoke to me, because I, again, was trying to fit my square peg into a circular hole with Disney, and just not being appreciated, and feeling like I wasn't reaching my potential. And then to have somebody come up and love what I was doing, that was completely and only me, everything that was created, I was so incredibly just filled with butterflies. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. And so I did maybe one or two shows, starting with Midnight Fables and, getting my groundwork. And then Corsets and Cuties was having an amateur show. And so I did the amateur show, and I actually won.
Oh, nice.
And Yes, and so through that, I was able to be on the cast for Corsets and Cuties, and then through Corsets and Cuties, I've actually gotten to perform burlesque at Cocktails and Screams. So again, it's all just its own thing.
Uh-oh.
And then
you just flashed your headshot like Papa. Look at my headshot, by
the
way.
In your video there.
Hello, this is me.
Yeah, that was weird. It's very weird.
Yeah, my bad.
That's okay.
So and then Wicked Ways Cabaret, which is a newer company, we actually they asked for auditions, and I sent them the Nadia piece, which we'll talk about, and they asked me to be a host for the show. And so I vicariously have been like working as a host. So I've been so successful in the 2 years of doing burlesque. I've been so incredibly fortunate and kind of on that upward climb with the burlesque scene, which is such a cool alternative performance community that exists here in Orlando.
It's like on the other end of the spectrum for Disney.
Oh yeah. And so that's what I mean. I'm like, it would have been awesome to be, a villain at Disney, but then I can be a villain and go down to pasties and do what I want. So
yeah. Mm-hmm. Disney's not quite there yet.
Yeah, you can't really get away with that at Disney.
Not yet.
Disney after dark.
So
it's like they have to have the entertainment there to,
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
So here's a shot of you as Nadia. Nadia is like my absolute favorite thing from what we do in the shadows.
Mm-hmm.
And you are like spot on.
You look just like her.
Yeah, it's perfect.
The resemblance is amazing.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
I hope. Let me know at any time if you're ever going to do this character again, because I will drop whatever I'm doing, including my job, and I will.
Yeah.
Because I love Nadia. I think Nadia's like the best thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's again, especially with the burlesque scene, the nerdlesque is a big thing, and so we do themed shows. And so this was actually originally for Midnight Fables. It was our A game virtual show, and so again, my kind of thing is I do kind of spooky, something alternative and weird, or I make a mess. Like that's kind of my thing. And so I was really getting into what we do with the shadows, and I actually own a prop coffin, like randomly. Don't ask. And
who doesn't?
Yeah, right. I'm not surprised. And so I did this routine, and of course, like poured blood, and it was quirky and weird. And so when my other producer, Lady James for Corsets and Cuties, she saw it, she through connections was invited to do a burlesque show at Cocktails and Screams for their vampire ball. And she said, I want you to do, this number. And I said, okay, I don't know if anybody's going to know who I am, but okay. And so then to my surprise, I show up, and, at Cocktails and Screams, they have those 4 screens, Gazoon tight. And usually they have like spooky pictures, but they literally had the stills from what we do in the shadows.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I was like,
neat.
okay. And
Very
so
neat.
then I walk in, and there's a whole group like dressed from the show and the movie, and they're like, oh my God, you look just like her. And I'm like, they don't even know I'm performing. And so then when I did my routine, and midway through the first song, I did the intro song with it too. Everyone just erupted and yelled and was so excited. Cool. And I was on cloud 9 with that performance, because at first I was like, I don't know if anybody's gonna know who I am. And so I love her, and I hope to bring her back, but she's a messy character, so I have to.
Well, you can just stuff napkins in your collar.
Yeah, I
paper
just
towels.
lay down a tarp before I do my routine. So
it's such a good show. It's a really popular show.
I recommend it to anybody.
Yeah, I
know
love it so
it
much.
might be sacrilege, but I actually like the show more than the movie.
Yeah, I did. I like this.
And honestly, it's because of Nadia. Yeah, she's the one that puts over the top.
Hilarious
show compared to the movie.
All right, so let's go back here. Okay, so you've got a show coming up with Corsets and Cuties here, and it looks like you got a bunch of shows coming up here. And I can't make this. Let me hold on one second. Let me see if I can do something. Let's make this a little bit bigger for this one. That way people can see the flyer. There we go. Awesome. So do you want to let everybody know what's going on here? Saturday, April 17th, 7 and 9:30 p.m.
Yeah, so this was just announced. first I'm going to talk about, we have a show coming up this Sunday that is actually, it's sold out, but it's a benefit show for Theatre West End, which is in Sanford. And with everything going on, they're on the verge of, losing the building. And so we're doing a benefit performance where we're donating our performance to help Theatre West End. Like I said, it is sold out, but we are selling virtual tickets. And so if that's something you'd be interested in, you can message us on the Corsets and Cuties Facebook page. Okay. Or if you just want to donate directly, I have Venmo. It's at Corsets-and-Cuties. And you can donate to help with saving the venue, because that's our home first and foremost for performing. But yes, we just announced that we are doing a show on April 17th. It's a Sunday, I believe. Yes. At House, which is the new venue that Blue Star opened up on Church Street. And there's going to be 2 shows that night. We have a show at 7:30 and a show at 9. And so it's going to be fun because it's limited seating. It is cocktail seating, but we do try to honor that social distancing and make sure everyone is safe. So that's going to be at House on April 17th, and you can get tickets on eventbrite.com. Just look up Corsets and Cuties. But then we have the privilege of performing at the Orlando Fringe Festival. Which is a pretty big deal.
So much fun.
Yeah,
I love Fringe.
Which if I don't know, if people aren't familiar with Fringe, basically you submit a show. It's a wonderful theater festival in Orlando, but it's kind of a lottery of who gets to perform. And so we were very fortunate to get to perform, and we will also be performing at House again.
Oh, cool.
Yes, and that show is called Delicious. So you get to see, take that for what that is, what you think you're going to see. Delicious. And that's going to be in May 19th, 26th, 27th, and the 29th. And so you can check out Fringe Festival. Was it fringe.org?
I just Google Orlando
Fringe. Orlando Fringe, or again, check out just Google Orlando Fringe, Google Corsets and Cuties, and you can come check us out for the Orlando Fringe. So
nice. So you got all kinds of stuff going on, and then Arden.
Yeah, and so hey guys, I do a million things. Somehow one of them isn't sleeping. And so I'm in a show. It's an original show from In the Wings Productions. It's our first show produced. And it's an original musical called Arden. And it's starring Ginger Minge from RuPaul's Drag Race, which is pretty exciting if you're into that. And so it's an original musical that features some 80s music and tells the story of Arden, the Force of Arden, which is Shakespeare. So we have Queen Titania and Oberon, Ophelia, and Rosalind and Orlando, and all our characters from Shakespeare within. And I get to play the villain in the show.
Nice. Perfect.
Crazy.
Again, who would have thought?
Right?
And it's an interesting experience too, because I usually am not a singer. So if you want to see a once in a lifetime experience of me singing, come see Arden at the Orlando Fringe. We have 7 performances between May 19th to the 30th at the Silver Venue, which is the Orlando Repertory Theater, I believe. Okay. So again, come check us out. Yeah. It's not a spooky show. Well, we do have witches in the show. The Macbeth witches are in the show. So, and I get to be one of those too. So, nice. So I guess I can't get away from the spooky life. It just chooses me.
If you follow it or it follows you, or both.
It haunts me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I go to Fringe every year. I over the last couple of years, I try to select all the either where my friends are performing, or I go in and I look for the spooky stuff, and then I try to cover that for the show. So, but I absolutely adore Fringe. It's amazing. If you haven't been to Orlando Fringe, I don't even know what you're doing with your life. And then cheese curds. Yeah. I mean, come on.
You can't pass up cheese
curds. From my homeland of Wisconsin. So. Did you catch Showgirls by chance?
We did do Showgirls. Yeah,
Showgirls is amazing. I love Thanksgiving the musical. That's how I met everybody.
Yes.
I became such a huge fan of that.
Yeah.
I was like I was the fan that was like making fake movie posters for that, and I totally went overboard with Things Killing Me musical. And,
huge fanboy, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Then, it was so funny.
Yeah.
It was a great show with Showgirls, and we did Animatronicans. Which was one of my favorites.
Okay.
I saw
both
Animatronicans.
Yeah.
Hilarious, just absolutely hilarious. Just making fun of everything theme parks, and I loved it.
Yeah,
I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, you gotta go to Fringe. Go to Fringe.
Yeah, it was a good time. But definitely a good time.
Showgirls was I was in that show, and that was my first experience with Fringe, and we won Patrons Pick. So we're hoping.
I didn't even know that.
You were in Showgirls.
What
we didn't know that.
I like cut them a promo at Fringe. Like, what the? Okay, now I feel really dumb.
Yeah, because our friend Jillian was in it.
Yeah.
Oh, I love her. I love
Jillian.
Incredibly talented.
Yes.
Amazing. Yeah.
Wow.
Small world.
That's crazy.
Such a small world.
Many things
it's retroactively getting smaller.
That's
crazy. Awesome. Okay, so we're gonna start to wrap it up here. I mean, we could talk about all the things, but as kind of a highlight here are all the ways that you can follow Cherran Dea here. There is a spicy and a non-spicy Instagram, so if you want to follow them both, please do. But all the things that we talked about tonight, Halloween Horror Nights, obviously, Phantasmagoria, Cocktails and Screams, Corsets and Cuties, Wicked Ways Cabaret, Midnight Fables is a Facebook page, and then Orlando Fringe. And now I feel dumb because I feel like it's not .com. Hold on one second.
I think it's .org. I'm pretty sure.
Orlando Fringe. I got to do this because remember how I said that I made a mistake? It is. Okay, so it is orlandofringe.org, not .com. If that's the only like error I made in this episode, I am perfectly happy with that. Yeah. So I'm good. Awesome. And then we got all kinds of comments in here. We got My Queen. We've got people linking out. We got James in here.
Well, there was one question I think we looked over. What inspired you to get into horror stuff or the Halloween scene?
It's funny because I have this like quote where I'm like, I like spooky, not scary. Mm-hmm. And so even working my first horror nights, I only went into one house because I was terrified. It's
true. Most people who do scare act are actually scared of it. Wow. Like you would be surprised how many people are actually scared of it.
We know some haunters that don't watch horror movies, so it's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny because like first and foremost, my like biggest fear in life is zombies. Like irrational, I know, but terrified. Yeah. And so I really got into it late in the game and kind of like, I'm kind of like witchy and ethereal, and I kind of just like fell into it oddly of just like really loving spooky, and I even have like my spooky tattoo. Where are you? Here you are. And I wear it on my shoulder. I'm just like, I just love the culture and the people that I get to meet, and just like the whole just vibe that Halloween allows us, because first and foremost, like we get to play.
Yeah.
Halloween is about play and having fun and being mischievous, and I just love that kind of vibe. And so like I've kind of just grown into the spooky life. It really did choose me. It really did. I really tried. And it got me.
That's true. I mean, there's so much you can do with Halloween and spooky. So many different
year
round that you can do with it throughout the year, not just during Halloween, which is pretty cool.
Right. So. Which is like, again, with Phantasmagoria, we tell the story of the Krampus, and and the horror stories around Christmas, and the horror stories around Valentine's Day. Like there's spooky aspects within every single like holiday, and that's what's so fun, is finding that alternative darker vibe and find the joy within that, which I think is such an interesting like psychological thing. I might just be a little like cooped in the head, but I guess maybe we all are, so
it's
the best people.
And Halloween really is 365 if you think about it, like you said. So it's in every aspect of everything that we do.
Awesome. So any we're gonna wrap this up here in a moment, but any shout outs? Anybody you want to say hi to specifically?
To me? Oh yeah, I want to well, first and foremost, my burlesque name is Daddy, so if you want to know how that is said, that's how it's said. So Call Me Daddy is my burlesque name. And I want to shout out to Lady James and to Aurora Fable, who have given me my start in burlesque. I want to say thank you so much to my mother, Cheryl Rochelle, for supporting me. She flies down to Florida to see me in anything she can. She absolutely is terrified of spooky. Yeah. And so she supports me when she can. And I want to thank Armand, who's my best friend, and just all the people that, you know, that continue to tell me and remind me, like, look at all the amazing things you're doing, even when I don't feel like I'm doing anything, like you. And I want to say thank you to you guys for having me and making me feel cool enough to have like an episode.
You are cool.
We'll have to have you back, because I know, like, a year from now or whatever, you'll probably be up to another batch of crazy things that we can catch up.
I'm just the Jeff Bezos of, like, just events and doing things. I'll just be doing a billion things by then.
That's okay. That's all right. We'll be following.
Definitely.
Awesome.
And I would love to see you again in person.
Yeah.
You know, so
yeah.
I love meeting you. You know, so
yeah. This is me.
And you're really cool. So.
And I'm half vaccinated now, so
yeah.
Getting there.
Good job. Good job.
Cool.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Hang out on Zoom for a moment while we say goodbye, and then we'll talk here in a moment, okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
I love you.
Okay. All right. So, that was an awesome show. She's such a great guest.
Show.
Yeah. There's so much. We actually had questions that we didn't even get a chance to ask because everything was an amazing story. So,
talk about.
Thank you so much.
Such a good show.
But let's go ahead and wrap this up. So, next week on the show is a real quick, actually not even next week, next show. On Thursday, we're doing a special episode with some mutual friends. Well, I'll be doing this because Melissa's being a wuss, but
I won't be taking part in this because I might die.
Our friends Sarah and Jeremy and our friends Dee Dee and Mike will be doing the Little Nitro World's Hottest Gummy Bear Challenge. So
good luck with that, Johnny.
That's going to be 8 o'clock on Thursday. So it's going to be this thing right here. You might see one of us die on the air. Look away, Melissa.
Okay, look away.
Focus. There we go. Little
there
Nitro. So that's going to be us, this little tiny thing. I'm going to do it. I don't have any experience with hot stuff, so this is probably literally going to kill me. So
I don't do spicy, so that might literally kill me.
Yep.
Good luck with that. Don't die.
Yeah.
Please don't die.
Yeah. Yep.
Because then the show would be over, and I wouldn't know what to do.
Yep. So thank you, everybody, for watching and tuning in and sharing. We do appreciate that. Please make sure that you are following us on social media. I do want to just give a very quick shout out to our Patreon supporters, Sarah Shepard, John Sebastian Lavelle, and Sam Goodwin, the Photomancer. All support us on Patreon. You could too if you go to patreon.com/HauntScene. 100% of anything donated to the show goes back into the show because, you know, we got bills to pay. And we have show bills to pay, which is not like I'm like going to Starbucks. But yeah, so that's gonna be it for us, and we'll see you next week.
I don't want to end it. It was such a good show.
I know. Just
keep
going.
All
right.
I let it go on forever.
So we're gonna roll credits. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always.
Until next time, spooky.
As always, happy haunting. Have a good night, guys.
All right,
bye.
Bye.
Give me some treats.